How we doing out there, everybody? Happy to be with you through this brief little video form for our fourth week. So you've probably figured it out by now. The videos are going to be on every even number week. So our first one week 2, now week 4, 6, 8, etc. And just here to kind of touch base with you guys. Things I'm noticing with responses. Everything looks pretty good so far. Just make sure you're following directions thoroughly and being thorough in your responses. When you respond to an SCC exercise, those discussion questions, go ahead and number your responses. Okay, it's just easier for me to tell you to tell rather, which prompt you're addressing. So for that narration one in 3.1, we did exercises 2 and 3. Some of you guys actually wrote an essay, which technically wasn't the assignment. It asked you to, number 2, develop a plot with transitions, and then 3, extend the plot. Now, I don't think I really took off too many points for that necessarily, because you're basically satisfying the spirit of the assignment. But for grading purposes, it's easier for me to tell what you're doing if you number things and according to the numbers in the prompts for the textbook. Responses to the George Orwell and Tim O'Brien readings, all really solid. So you guys are doing a good job. Just want to remind you, if you are ever tempted to let old Uncle Chat GPT or Gemini do your work for you, and I happen to sniff it out, of course that'll be an automatic 0. I'll ask you about it, but just be aware that teachers are on the lookout for this stuff, and it's not just to be a cruel jerk about things. We want you to use the powers of your own mind. Now, of course, you could use AI to maybe do a grammar check or some enhancements to your writing. Perhaps AI is okay. I would ask first, because I'm having my middle schoolers, some of them try to get away with things, and I keep telling them, the easiest thing for an English teacher to sniff out is a botched job via AI or outright plagiarism. It's just, and it's not going to be as easy for me to tell if you're doing that because I'm not as used to your writing yet. And you guys are also seniors in high school, so of course we expect the quality of writing to be a little more graduated, shall we say, versus a middle schoolers. But I just wanted to put that little proviso out there, just to maintain personal integrity and make sure that you are doing your own work. You might get something past me. Heck, we all take the path of least resistance, right? Have I been academically dishonest? Sure. In my academic career when I was in school? Sure. And each of you probably has as well. But with that out of the way, let's keep in mind that we want to do our best to maintain that integrity and dignity in our work. Okay, so with that, you have turned in your narrative essays. You'll always see a format guide for the essays in SCC. So in the exercises, usually at the bottom, you'll see a student example. And that's the format to follow. And I put this on the announcement from last week. So when I go to grade these essays, which, by the way, have about a 2-week turnaround time for essays, probably will come back to you before a 2-week period. MLA format is your heading at the top left, your name, my name, the class, and the date. Upper right is your last name and corresponding page number. Centered is the title. Title should be creative, fun, imaginative. You wouldn't title your narrative essay, which, again, I posted this in the announcements last week. 12-point Times New Roman, double-spaced. Watch your spacing. Watch your formatting. I know sometimes formatting can get a little screwy during the transmission of your file to Blackboard, and sometimes it scrambles the format. So if I ever pop you for bad formatting, and you could maybe tell me, hey, it was formatted correctly, but something went wonky submitting it, and that happens sometimes. So just politely let me know if you notice something going screwy with your format through no fault of your own, and we'll of course be considerate with that. All right, so your narrative essays are in. That's worth 15% of your overall course grade. About 2-week turnaround time on that. So we're moving into our new unit after this week. This week we're going to do like a little wrap up on narrative writing. We have an article to read, a TED article, an article that I absolutely love. I stumbled upon this in 2016 or 17 when it was first written by Miss Esfahani Smith. It's about the 2 types of stories we tell ourselves. One of those stories is what she calls a contamination story. Oh, I suck. I'll never be good. I peaked in high school or middle school, and those were the good old days, and now I'm just riding out the clock. That's the contamination story. You can't get away from your past mistakes, your past sins, whatever you want to call them. And then there's the other one I think she calls a redemption story. Redemption story goes like this. Sure, I screwed up, I've made mistakes, I've done terrible things maybe. But I have the self-reflection and self-awareness to interrogate those things within myself and make an honest attempt to do better. Self-improvement, helping others, minding your own mental health and physical health, so that you could be the best person you could be, so that you could be helpful and good to other people, even though you might have messed up back in the day. That's a redemption story. You could be redeemed, okay? I just find those 2 stories, the way she discusses them, really fascinating. And you'll probably, after you read the article, and she might have the talk might be embedded in there as well, in that link I provided you guys. I would watch the talk too if you get a chance. It's just really fascinating. I find myself kind of vacillating between the 2. Sometimes I'll get really hard on myself and I'll get into that contamination story frame of mind, probably more than I would like to, such as life. And then sometimes I'll find myself in that redemptive story mode where, I'm trying to uplift myself and be confident and optimistic. So all you have to do is read the article, you post a response to it, look at the instructions that are in week 4. It's a discussion forum this week. I think that's all that I have for us to do. That's due Friday. Engagement activities, discussions, journals, blogs, which are voluntary, are always going to be due on that week's Friday. So this week is no exception. September the 13th, Friday. Your discussion forum on the 2 types of stories we tell ourselves is due. You want to make sure you make an original post and that you make a substantive response to another student's post. I believe the word count is 150 on your post and then 100 words to a fellow participant's post. And the only other thing, if you want to kind of get ahead of the game, you could start reading the stories in our descriptive unit. One is Truman Capote's first chapter of his novel In Cold Blood. We're going to be looking at that next week. In Cold Blood is one of my favorite books of all time. It's the only book that almost made me cry at the end. So I have an affinity with that book. So descriptive writing, we're going to be focusing on making our topic, our focus, our subject come to life with descriptive wording, figurative language, sensory details, descriptive details. So we're not going to be so much focused on story writing. It's going to be more on describing. Okay, so that's our next mode of discourse, descriptive writing. We'll start drafting that essay next week. not due next week, but, we'll start doing the exercises in SCC, which will kind of help us constitute a rough draft, if you will. And then the following week, week 6, your actual descriptive essay will be due. So, just to recap, one assignment this week, it is our discussion forum on Esfahani Smith's The Two Types of Stories We Tell Ourselves. In week 4, we are in shell 2, that's weeks 3 and 4, so go to the week 4 folder. You'll find the discussion forum link posted therein. Due by Friday, so let's try to mind our due dates and keep up the good work. And on a personal note, kind of a trailing off of the topic at hand here, events that happened last week in Winder, Georgia. I know you guys are in high school. I work in a pre-K through high school. We just had a code red drill a couple weeks ago. So the stuff is, of course, very present and real. And I just wanted to extend, my thoughts and prayers. I know that kind of gets to be a hackneyed, cliched response, but we can't snap our fingers and make these problems go away. So in the absence of feeling powerless, we could at least extend our thoughts and prayers to those affected and to you all as well, sort of in a similar setting. Of course, Winder's a good little ways away from you guys being up there in Calhoun, but I just wanted to, extend some sympathies there as well. I believe next week is anti-bullying week, bullying awareness, mental health awareness. October, I believe, is the month for that. So just wanted to let you guys know that, we're all, we should be mindful of each other and thinking of each other and all of that. So with that, I will bid you a good week. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out via email, and I'll turn it around back to you as soon as I can. Football has begun. I am sorry, Georgia fans. I am not a Falcons fan. You probably aren't either, because who cares about the Falcons? You like your UGA, I know. But I am a Saints fan. We're probably not going to do well this year, but let's see. So football starting, kind of getting into fall and spooky season. I'm pretty pumped. Maybe you guys are too. Anyway, good checking in with you. See you again with another video in 2 weeks. Read that announcement this week. Do your assignment on time, and we'll be golden. Catch you later. Peace.